everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Swagcast. I'm crazy excited. I'm shaking. I'm nervous. Today, we have somebody with over 50 career MMA fights. A man that's always smiling. The current karate combat champion, smiling Sam Alvey. What's going on, man? Thank you so much for coming. How you doing?
Oh, I'm feeling wonderful, my friend. Hey, and you said 50. I've got over 80.
80! Holy,
Yeah.
That, I knew you had somewhere over 60, in between 60 and 70. You know, I've been a fan for a long time. You've been around for a long time. I remember the first time I saw you was against Rashad Evans. That was in 2017.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it wasn't me. I beat Rashad. That's the one everyone knows. Well, who have you beaten? Rashad Evans. He is the best I've ever competed against. Hall of Famer.
Yes, that must have felt great, even being able to step in the cage with a legend like Rashad Evans.
Oh, it was incredible. It was such a cool experience.
And now, in where you are in your career, you're the legend. You're the legend that these young guys are so happy to step in the cage with.
Yeah, they are. Those rotten guys keep trying to hurt me. I'm getting old. Leave your elders alone.
Man, so you have 80 fights in your career. Do you have a current retirement plan, or are you just gonna keep going until the brakes fall off?
Shoot, I'm still winning. As long as I can make a living doing it, I'm gonna keep doing it. I mean, it's 12 o'clock on what day is today? Thursday. 12 o'clock on a Thursday, and I'm not at work. If I wasn't a fighter, I'd be doing something more beneficial.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, is there something you have to have a secret that to keep your body in
not
shape?
A good one. Just win a lot. It's really been it. Now, me, I'm a bigger dude. I walk around 230. I've been one of the bigger guys in the practice room my whole career. And for the most part, I've been one of the best guys in the practice room my whole career. So I don't get beat up much. It's the same reason Sean Strickland's going to have a career that goes on forever, or as long as he wants to anyways. He doesn't get beat up much. It's once you start getting hit and beat up a lot in the practice room, that's when the careers get cut short.
So that actually brings me to my next question. You've competed in a bunch of weight classes. I believe 4 weight classes to be exact. How did you manage weights throughout the process? When did you decide, oh, it's time to move up, or oh, I want to go back down? Things like that.
Sorry, I got sick like a week ago. Got this cough that just won't leave. I just went where the fights were. It was hard to find fights, especially when I'm beating everyone. Nobody would fight me, so I fought at 170. That's where the Ultimate Fighter was. I fought at 85 for most of my career. 205 for a good portion of my career. And right now, I have fought heavyweight in the past, and technically right now I am heavyweight, but Karate Combat's heavyweight is 205. So I just fight where people are willing to fight me, and it's hard to find.
Yeah, no, and you're getting up to an age where we're seeing a lot of athletes now compete still at an elite level. And you had said there's no secret to your training. You just always one of the best in the room, and you just don't get hit a lot. Is there anything you do outside of fighting training to keep your body in the shape to be able to endure the long training sessions, to be able to endure the camps?
No, I do MMA year round. I mean, and I always have. I've never taken that month off or that week off. If I'm hurt, I'm still in the gym. I'm just working the other parts that aren't hurt. Now, since I've left the UFC, my other home away from home is the weight room. So I'm lifting constantly, trying to make myself a true 205er. And I've always loved lifting. I just couldn't do it with the middleweight weight class. So now that I'm going light heavyweight to heavyweight the rest of my career, probably, I'm lifting real heavy.
When you were going middleweight, was that weight cut tough?
Oh, yeah. The 205 is tough now. I've gotten so much bigger. But yeah, middleweight was tough too. I had to be very strict on everything I ate.
How much weight are you cutting now, if you don't mind me asking?
About the same. I'm just starting from higher. So now it's still, when I say cutting, it's sitting in a sauna cutting weight or a bathtub.
Yeah.
And so now it was about, I've done more than 15 pounds, but 15 is usually a safe assumption of what I'm going to do. And 15 gets rough.
Yeah, that sounds brutal. I just started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu about 4 months ago, and
Oh yeah.
I'm considering competing soon, and I do not want to cut anything more than 10 pounds. And when I say cut, I'm gonna start a month ahead. I will hopefully not have to sit in a sauna.
Yeah.
I wrestled for 10 years, so I am done with
Uh,
the weight cutting portion of life.
yeah. I look forward to being done with it. It's the worst part about fighting. A lot of good parts, but the weight cut's rough. I'll fight for free, but you're gonna pay me a bunch to cut weight.
Hell yeah, just let me in at my weight I walk around at, and you don't gotta pay me $1.
Yeah.
So now your walkouts. Uh, some fighters say that before every fight, even the vets, say that before every fight they still get nervous. I believe Donald Cerrone used to always say he would throw up often before his fights and then go out and get a vicious knockout. Now, do you have any prep for your walkouts or like anything you do beforehand? Is there a special playlist? Do I know you're very religious? Do you have like a prayer that you always do? Is there anything?
I've never been nervous fighting. Not from the first one, not to the last one. I've just never. I've always enjoyed it. Never had the butterflies in my stomach. Nothing. So backstage, I just kind of do whatever I'm feeling like doing. I do always say a team prayer. We get myself and anyone else in the locker room wants to pray with us. We all gather around and say a quick prayer. But even that changes every time. No, I've always enjoyed it. I didn't mean to be a fighter. I was going to be something else. And fighting, they started paying me, so I'll keep doing this.
How you said about 3 times now that you didn't even mean to be a fighter. How
Mm.
did it come about?
Uh, some guy said, "Hey, you want to fight tomorrow?" I said, "All right, sounds fine to me." That was really it. I hadn't trained it. I didn't start training until after I was a pro. I was probably 2-0 as a pro before I ever really started training. Uh, it was just some guy said, "Hey, you want to do it?" And I said, "Okay." Uh, then eventually, some guy said, "Hey, you want to do it? I'll pay you." I said, "Oh, it's even better." And I made like $200 or something, and I was considered a pro. And that's just the way it was back then. The commissions weren't around. I could fight as much as often as I wanted. I'm one of the few fighters out there still active that has fought more than once in a day. Yeah, I've just been around for a minute, and I miss what MMA used to be. It's cool to see what it is now, but what it used to be so much more free and fun.
But do you mean like the grittiness of like old school MMA, like the old school Pride tournaments? Like you would go in and like have three brawls in one night, and
Yeah,
and the type of madness like that.
yeah. When I was first starting, that there was no preparation for anything. You just say yes. It didn't matter who I was fighting. All right, I'll fight that guy. And that's just the way it was for everyone. I never had people pulling out. I never had managers making sure I'm undefeated until X fight. I just said yes, and that's the way it used to be. Management really took over with MMA and has made the sport so much more unenjoyable. It's still enjoyable, but the parts you don't like are because of management. And in the beginning, you didn't have management. You just went out and fought. I had a good time with it. So I've done the 3 fights in one night thing before, and I don't know that you could find a sanctioning body to do that.
Yeah, no, I don't even think they do those kind of things in Ryzen anymore over in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I know they were crazy up until like 2015, but they've kind of relaxed over there with their MMA since that guy's testicles exploded. Um,
I
which
have
is
not heard that story.
You haven't seen that? I'm very surprised. Yeah, it was like he was going for a body switch kick, and he hit him in the nuts, and you could hear the pop. It was like a very loud, and yeah, yep,
Wow.
yeah. Don't
Yeah.
don't
I,
don't look it up, or do look it up
I was gonna say
after.
I'll take your word. I'm imagining it, but yeah, I'm not looking that up.
No, that's why the cups that we have nowadays, those diamond cups, they're very
Yeah.
durable, they're very important. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
hasn't happened in a long time, knock on wood. So so now this was actually a question that had my chat actually wanted me to ask you this. We
About eight
we've
inches.
we've seen fighters come out with crazy playlists. Like they listen to some crazy music before fights or even just during training. What does your normal playlist consist of? Take us through your music playlist.
Yeah, so I've walked out for my entire UFC career. Hey Soul Sister by Train.
Yes.
Uh, in karate combat, I've walked out to Elvis most of the time. I've had 3 fights. I believe I've walked out to Elvis 3 times. No, I'm an old dude. All music in the last 20 years sucks, all of it. And then a lot of the music before that sucks too. But there's not been a good song written or sang since 1999, and I am full bore on that. And I hate the heavy metal and the rap stuff and that. Everyone that when they walk out, every song, everything sounds the same. You couldn't remember who anyone's song is except who is it? Bisbing always walked out to one song. You remember certain songs that people walked out to, but most of the fighters out there, they walk out to the same garbage and nobody remembers it.
I do remember Darren Till walked out to Sweet Caroline one time, and and he was in Liverpool,
Yeah.
and they went crazy. That was like the craziest I've ever seen an MMA crowd get.
Yeah.
And I do really enjoy when fighters come out to like Michael Venom Page just did it recently, and Izzy's the king for it. They come out like he just came out dressed as the Undertaker with holding the urn with
Oh yeah.
the death music playing, and
Oh,
I
it's the reason Conor McGregor is as big as he is has nothing to do with how good he was. It helped, but it was all personality. And people keep walking out to the same way, and they keep walking out doing the same thing, listening to the same terrible music. So forgettable. You have to be like Conor in the regard of everything you do is to get a headline to make somebody remember you. And fighters are terrible at that.
yeah, there's some that are decent, especially right now, and I do think Sugar Sean is very good at it, and
No,
uh,
yeah, Sean.
even
Oh,
Marab is very
he's so
getting very
funny.
good with it. He's
Dude's
hysterical.
hilarious on social media.
Have you seen his
Yeah,
recent skits with the guy he got to play as Sean O'Malley, and he
I, I
carried him.
I've seen a couple of them. Yeah, he's got it figured out, and more fighters need to do that. More fighters need to have personality. That they're be a good fighter, yeah, but that only get you paid so much. Be an entertaining guy. That'll make you so much more money.
Yes, but there is a line to be drawn because like I am like the biggest Colby Covington hater. I know it's all a character. I know it's a character. Like he's going on record saying it's a character, but like I hate the character. I can't stand it.
No, yeah, no, it is so cringy. He and Triple C, they are the cringiest fighters in the UFC. I love them for it, and I love how Kobe. Every time he's doing anything on camera, it looks like he's reading a teleprompter poorly. Looks like it, and I just eat it up. I love it. I watch every. He just had something out about get Gary
Oh,
Ian Gary.
uh-huh.
Yeah, he just came up with a new one, and it was cringy AF as the kids would say, and I just loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
No, he is very cringy. It hurts my heart that you say Henry Cejudo is cringy because I actually sometimes think he's so cringy that he's funny that,
Oh yeah,
that it
oh yeah,
just it just
oh yeah,
works for him. When he was punting the pillow buddies
yeah.
that were other fighters, well, he's gold. He's comedy gold. Uh,
100%.
so let's travel out of fighting a little bit and tell us about the fight food truck and
Yeah,
kind of
so
how
that's
that came about.
yeah. So last year I was having a real hard time finding fights. Like nobody'd fight me. So I reached out to Russia, bare knuckle fighting, reached out to everywhere. And I couldn't get a fight. So well, I got to do something. So I talked to my wife, and we'd always talked about doing it. Say, hey, we got some savings. Let's buy a food truck. And so we did, and it has paid off. I mean, it was the best investment we've ever made. We run a business now. We are food truck people. We go out tomorrow. I've got a full day. Yesterday I had a full day. Yesterday was terrible. We didn't sell. I don't think we sold one thing yesterday, and that almost never happens. This was a mistake going to. We won't make the mistake. Anyways, I have so much fun doing it. I get to go out and I serve food and I talk to people and just have a blast doing it.
So your wife actually came up with the name, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 100%. She's a smart one of the two of us. That gal has so many degrees and so many hidden talents that people don't realize. It's incredible. And I am such a big fan of hers.
So speaking of your wife, how did you two meet?
A Renaissance fair. Yeah, I was selling steak on steak, and she was selling bodice or medieval plastic surgery, as they called it. And her boss and a buddy of mine introduced us, and that was forever ago, and it was a wonderful day. I was 19, and she told me she was 17, but she's only 16. Yeah, her birthday was a month later. But yeah, we hit it off real quick, and we've been glued to each other ever since.
That's actually a wild the Renaissance Fair. I love that. So so this was before you guys even chose your career paths, because you're a fighter and she's a model, which usually don't really you don't see those really connect a lot of the time.
A lot of fighters hope they get a model, but not many
Yeah,
of them do.
but they don't.
Uh, yeah, that was before I met her. Before I ever stepped foot in any sort of cage. For the most part, she had modeled a little bit before, but she hadn't won the show. She hadn't done anything like that. She hadn't done anything at a national level before, and we just kind of helped each other grow. And we stayed together as she lived in New York, or she lived in Australia, or she lived in Paris. We stayed together and just made it work. Long distance is a thing that it's hard to do, but man, am I glad it paid off or it worked for us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And now you guys have 6 kids, and y'all are living beautifully, running the food truck. What
Yeah, I
kind?
don't hear you. Saw my chickens just going around. I got my horses over there, my pigs floating around.
Oh, let's
Yeah,
go.
it's quite the life. Yeah, I just love it.
So what kind of food do you guys serve on the food truck? Like
So
what's a daily menu look like?
yeah, so there, we have deep dish pizza every day. That's the champion. Then we have a challenger every day. The challenger is whatever we're feeling. So we'll see at the end of the day who sells more, pizza or paninis. We've been doing a lot of paninis lately. Those are pretty good. So pizza or paninis, or pizza and mac and cheese, or pizza versus jambalaya. We do a versus menu, and we've had a real good time doing it. But the deep dish Chicago style pizza, that is our mainstay.
So how did you guys decide, like, has pizza always been something that you two have like loved making? Have you always been a cook, a chef in the kitchen, and said I make a mean Chicago pizza, or did it just kind of come about when the food truck was purchased?
She's the chef. I don't cook anything. I mean,
Oh,
I can
okay.
cook, not like her. She does all the cooking for everything. Most of the time, she'll cook it, and then I'll go out and I'll sell it, or I'll assemble it and put it together, and all like that. On the busy days, we both go out. But yeah, that's kind of what she makes. A mean everything. You could ask her to cook, a paper bag, and she would make it delicious. It's always been her talent, and the pizza is just so versatile. There's nobody that doesn't like pizza. The joke is bad pizza is still pretty good pizza. We just got really good pizza.
Yeah, no, I would love to try it sometime. That sounds like something. That sounds like it is delicious. Something that's made every single day, fresh. Is it
Oh
fresh?
yeah, oh yeah, 100%. We make the bread, we make it all. Um, yeah. So if ever you're down in the Nashville area, you hit me up and we'll get you fed.
Absolutely. Let's go. So now let's talk about karate combat. Let's circle back. Now karate combat's kind of new into the combat scene. I believe it's only been about for 2, maybe 3 years.
No, it actually, I believe it started in 2016. I
Oh.
believe that. Yeah, I believe that was the first time that it was around. I only found out about it at like exactly a year ago. Is
Mm.
when I first saw it, and I just fell in love with it. It was so fast paced. It was just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it a couple years back, because Baz Rutten, he's like the big guy, the big man in charge, and he went on Joe Rogan's podcast, and
Yeah.
I remember them speaking about it. So how did your take me through leaving the UFC, going through other promotions, and then landing into karate combat?
Yeah, after the UFC, I mean, it was. I had people say, "Oh yeah, you'll be in bare knuckle boxing. We're gonna pay you everything in the world, and it's gonna be fantastic, and you're gonna be wonderful." And then I got out of the UFC, and I started talking to people, and everybody was scared. Nobody wanted to fight me. It was I was dumbstruck. I finally beat two who I'm friends with. I've commentated with them a bunch. I reached out to them and said, guys, can you give me anyone? I will fight any weight class. Just I need something. Because I had my skid in the UFC and I wanted to end that skid. So they hooked me up. I found a heavyweight boy, Big Mac. Man, that was a big fight. That was a big boy. Went out there, got my 20th professional TKO or knockout in that fight. And right around the same time, Raymond Daniels was fighting in Karate Combat. And Raymond's a buddy of mine. So I said, I'm going to watch this. I tuned in and I just loved it. I fell in love with the whole sport. So I started following Karate Combat and everyone that had anything to do with it, just liking and commenting on every post. And eventually they reached out to me and said, Sam, is this something you want to do? I said, yes, put me in. I will dominate this sport. And so that they gave me the opportunity down in the Dominican Republic. That was my first fight, and I said, I knocked him out real quick. Got my second fight against Ross Levine, and that was another great fight. Got my third, and that's where I got the belt. Got my third fight against Antonio Ario, whoever I just fought, and he headbutted me. It's funny. Beforehand, I said the only way he's gonna beat me is if he cheats, and then he headbutted me. He didn't take my belt, but man, he knocked the stuffing out of me.
Yes, I had watched that. I've watched clips from that fight, and I remember I was confused of why it stopped, and then I saw the replay, and I was like, oh, that was bad. And but Karate Combat, I just watched my first full card on the Rockhold card.
Okay, yeah.
That card, I actually kind of fell in love with it too. I never sat down and watched the card from start to finish, and that sport is incredible. The things they're allowed to do are crazy, and they even started doing grappling now.
Yeah, they've got grappling matches at the beginning of every card, or sometimes at the intermission of every card. They're really branching out, and they're making a spectacle of all of it. Yeah, I like it. It's so much faster paced. It's so much faster paced than. Oh, I'm busy, baby. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
It's her turn for now. I'll be in a second. Okay. All right, go on, Punk. Yeah, it's just so much faster paced than every other combat sport. It's faster, way faster than MMA. You don't have to worry about the wrestling. It's faster than boxing because they can spin and they can kick. I love it. I'm really enjoying every match.
So when you got offered the championship fight, was it kind of like, because I know you've probably won many championships before the UFC, but this was your first championship challenge in a long time. Mm-hmm. So what was it kind of like a breath of fresh air?
It felt great. It felt great getting the opportunity, and I was fighting one of their middleweight champ who was stepping up a weight class. Mm-hmm. It was wonderful. It felt so cool to get the opportunity and to be respected like that. And I wasn't expecting a title shot that fast. I figured I was going to have to win another one or two. But for it to come like that, and I just said yes. And it was fairly short notice too. I think I had like 4 weeks to get ready, but I was in. Had a killer weight cut. It was a big weight cut for that time.
So what does a normal fight camp look like for you? You said that one only had 4 weeks. So maybe what did that fight camp look like?
It was just a lot. And as soon as I get the fight notice, it's all right. How do I lose weight? And most of my fight camp is just figuring out how I'm going to lose weight.
Really, there's not much like technique or maybe watching film or.
No, because I train year round as is. I'm never out of the gym. I'm always in shape. I'm just varying weights.
You don't gotta get ready because you stay ready.
Yeah, and so that's kind of it. Is I was ready. My conditioning was fine. I just had to lose a bunch of weight.
So I know you probably want to get out of here with the 6 kids and all. So I got a couple more questions and then we can wrap it up. So you're injured right now. How did you injure your foot?
20 minutes before I got headbutted my last fight. I was backstage, and the backstage warm-up area was assembled poorly, and there was a flooring that wasn't connected. So there's a gap in the flooring, and then there were mats on top of that, so I couldn't see there was a gap. And as I was sparring around, getting ready, I stepped in the gap. It bent my foot in two, and it broke one of my metacarpals, I believe it's called. And it had me limping pretty hard.
I knew that from stalking your Instagram, but the audience may not. So I
Yeah.
wanted them to get it explained. So how long is the healing process for that?
Well, they've ordered a bone growth stimulator for me, so that's supposed to help make everything stronger and faster. Um, I'm trying to fight in July. If I can get my foot to where I'm not worried about it in the next 4 to 6 weeks, I will be golden to fight in July.
I actually saw that post on your Instagram today. You had put hashtag July and hashtag Nashville. Does that mean the July Karate Combat is in Nashville?
It sounds like it. Nothing's official, but it sounds like it is.
It sounds like it is. I
And if
am an
it's in Nashville, I will sell that place out. It will be my backyard.
I am an East Coast boy, and that's not a long trip for me. I would love to come to my first Karate Combat, so
Oh,
I'd have to look into that for sure. Um, but yeah, Sam, thank you so much, man, for stopping by. That's all I have for you today, and I know you're a busy guy. You want to get out of here. If there's anything you want to tell the people, you got an Instagram, you got a Twitter, you want to plug anything, go for it.
yeah, apparently I have a Discord now too. Apparently I had one. Like I was trying to log in and it said you've already got an account. So, oh, cool. Yeah, follow me on YouTube primarily. I'm growing my YouTube big time. I just crossed 4,000. I'm getting close to 4,100 even. And I'm having a lot of fun with that longer form content. I get to really break down what is going on in the fight world and what I have done in the past. So yeah, you follow me on YouTube, my TikTok. Although TikTok might be going away, I love TikTok too. Follow me, have a good time with me, and I answer questions to everyone.
Yes, sir. And before I forget, because he'll kill me, Nabality is a popular YouTuber in the UFC 4 and 5 community, and he loves you. His community loves you. He did a run in with you and made you UFC champion multiple
Oh,
times. And I just did a best of 5 with him, and he knocked out my Alex Piero twice with
hey,
you.
that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Now in UFC 5, I'm the worst character in the game, which doesn't bother me because I'm still in the game, which is awesome. But because I'm the worst, there's like a challenge on the internet. You have to beat the game on super hard with Smiling Sam. So there are more people playing with Smiling Sam than most of the other characters because of my stat deductions.
Yes, there's a lot. Like you are used so much. It is annoying to run into Sam Alvey's online too, because it's a weird like that you got ridiculous power in that game, but that's like all they gave you. They just gave you
Yeah,
power and just that's it,
yeah.
and then
I don't like that.
just leaving people lifeless, and it's just so annoying to face. But yeah, man, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for making time for me. You the man. And that's it for today. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Every single Wednesday, a brand new episode will be coming out. Thank you so much, Sam, and we will see y'all next week.
Hey,
Peace.
talk to you, my friend.